You're listening to
Split the Defense.
Leafs Post-Game Edition.
Split the Defense.
Is presented by the Forest Electrical Contractors. Professional and efficient service since 2004. Serving the Kingston and surrounding areas. Alongside co-host Craig Pearce and producer Ted Evans, here's your host, Jordan Webster.
What up? Welcome to Split the Defense, Leafs post-game. I'm Webby with CP and producer Ted. Leafs lose 4-2 to the Detroit Red Wings. Red Wings are now 1 point back of the Leafs, but have 2 more games played. Not good. That's 3 losses in a row now for Toronto, losing to producer Ted's Colorado Avalanche in heartbreaking fashion last night, and the Islanders before that. Before we get started here, please take a second, drop a like on the episode. Drop a like on the episode, please. Thank you. Quickly. Subscribe to our YouTube, rate it 5 stars, whatever podcasting platform you're consuming from. So tonight's game started pretty late. 7:52 puck drop. Detroit couldn't get to the arena due to the snowstorm. The game was supposed to be at 7. So at Best of CJAI put it best here. He says 7:52 puck drop. This game was supposed to be at 7 p.m. Lines in a blender? Samsonov starting? This has disaster written all over it. Why is being a Leafs fan like this? So Sheldon Keefe certainly had the lines in a blender, as Luke Fox tweeted out earlier for me to tell you, is Holmberg, Matthews, and Nylander was the top line. Bertuzzi, Domi, Marner in the second. The third line was Robertson, Tavares, Yarncroke, and the fourth line was Nyes, Kampf, and Gregor. I didn't hate that. I thought it was pretty balanced looking on paper. I thought, hey, that might work. Justin Hall gets a short video tribute before the game, and I thought that was short and sweet and cute and exactly the way it needed to be for the amount of time he was there. But yeah, pretty big line shakeup tonight from the coach. The Leafs started out with the first goals. There are no goals in the first, but the Leafs are outshot 10-6 despite 3 power plays in that opening period. Ridiculous, right? Less than 40 seconds into the second, Riley fires on Holmberg, tips it in, scoring 1-0. How about that Holmberg, eh? And
looked good for a bit.
Yeah, he's looked good for a couple games in a row now. Like, I'm starting to really like him as a player. After that, it was McCabe with a brutal giveaway behind the net. Larkin snipes it far side, 1-1. 1:42 left in the second. Bertuzzi and Marner connect for 2-1. And then it was a very beautiful goal. Yeah, absolutely. And then this had the opportunity to be one of the nicest saves of the year, but as David Alter put it best, I'll read what he said. It says, it looked like Samsonov tried to do the reverse glove Hasek save and missed. Sprong ties the game 2-2.
A little much for me, but...
Yeah, it would have been insane if it worked, though, right? If he made that save, it would have been like, oh my God, Samsonov, you're back. Not really, but holy shit, that would have been cool. Anyways, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, and Sammy makes a massive save, the save of the game, only for him to lose his net less than 60 seconds later. Andrew Kopp scores 3-2 Red Wings. Raymond puts in the empty net goal, 4-2 Wings. That's how it is. It's over. 3 losses in a row for the Leafs. Things aren't looking up. I'll tell you that right now. Shaking up the lines to get things changed. Not good. Losing against all 3 of those teams. You would have liked to at least take one of these games out of the last 3. And they took none.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely should have. I would at least like one. Holy. I mean, I might not be wanting to like jump off a bridge here if we had one, but at the it was terrible tonight based on the circumstances. Like, this was worse than last night. I mean, this was like not a great team. They're coming in like they should be tired. They've been traveling all day and coming off of the game last night where basically all of the Leafs fans are just calling in question of all of the star players, the coaching. You know, we get this line shakeup, so it looks like Keefe's doing something, but I mean, this was piss poor. You know, just like they should have ran away with this. I don't know. This is like I see the first comment here is I'm done with Keith from John. And like, I mean, it kind of seems like maybe. Like I've been a guy that's been saying like they're gonna let this go a long time because they just gave Keith a new contract in the summer. But we're here at a point where I mean, these last 3 games have just been awful, and obviously he can't get a reaction from his players in a game that like means a lot. I mean, you're trying to prove to your GM that like that there's something building here, and they're proving that they need to make like a big change.
Doesn't really mean shit that he's got time left in his contract though, because Mike Babcock was fired at a way higher salary for longer.
Yeah.
So they could totally just move on from Sheldon Keefe.
They
and,
didn't
I just
enjoy
hope it's
paying
not-
him though.
I obviously you never want to pay somebody for nothing. I don't
Yeah.
think anybody would just enjoy. I loved that.
But I
That
think
was great.
it was the first time that like the ownership like put up a bit of a fuss about money not well spent. Like there might be a bit of a shift there of like wanting to just throw money away for nothing. But I mean, I think it comes to a point where you got to weigh the pros and cons here of how much are you paying Keith for the 3 years versus like how upset or like how far away are you from being a playoff team and how upset are your fan base? Like there's more into it than just money.
Is it too late to move on from the coach? Like, is it too late in
Never.
the season? No.
No,
Like, as for a playoff bound team, do you think that it's too late? Like, I don't know. It's kind of a really big shakeup right now. It's scary to me.
I guess like we're getting closer. Like the closer you get to the trade deadline, I mean, the less like opt you were to do it. I mean, I wouldn't care if you fired the coach in the last week if you deserved it. You know, even if you were heading into the playoffs. Like there seems to always be like it very clear when the players just stop responding to a coach. And all coaches, even the best ones in the world, have a like lifespan.
Shelf
So
life,
like,
yeah.
yeah, shelf life. Thanks. So like Keith's been great as far as a regular season record goes, but that means shit if like he's had a poor playoff success and now you just like can't get anything from your players when this should have been like they should have came out like on fire, and that's not what we saw right away. They ended up coming up with a lead, but then just couldn't hold it to a team that they should at least just like outlast. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. My biggest fear is you change coaches and it's like, who are you going to put in there? So you're going to hire another big name coach? Probably not mid-season. Like, do they have somebody in the reins? Do you think Brad Treliving's got somebody in mind? I think that somebody in mind is going to be Guy Boucher, and I'm not sure if you're going to. I think you're just going to get more of the same, and that's not really going to change anything. And I wonder, like, if you go through that guy, you get into Guy Boucher, and then potentially even another coach, and if we're still having these same problems, then you figure out, oh shit, it's been the personnel the whole time. It's the players, not the coaches, that aren't getting fired up. And that's actually the issue. So it doesn't matter how many fucking coaches you run through, how many guys you pay to not work for you. This team isn't going to get better until you move on from certain players.
They've also though only had one player or coaching change in the core group's time here, and it was when all of them were so young, and they gave it like the job to a coach that's kind of like a player's coach, or I guess he's very much a player's coach. So like I think that it is like it's something that I think could change this team. I mean, it's just you would never know until you did it. And like we were saying like last night, is like there's very few bullets to fire with this roster. So I mean, it's one of them.
It is one of them. Speaking of those players, Marner becomes the 7th player in Maple Leafs history to record 600 points with the club, joining Matt Sundin, Daryl Sittler, Dave Keon, Borja Salming, George Armstrong, and Ron Ellis. Mitch Marner reaches 600 points in 548 games, besting Daryl Sittler's 584 games played record from more than 45 years ago. Try reading that stat if you're dyslexic.
Oh, God.
So Nick Richard puts this the best for me that I want to talk about. Hometown boy becomes the fastest to reach 600 points in Leafs franchise history after being nominated for the Selke the year prior. Surely he's beloved in Toronto.
Oh, God. I mean, that's such a good...
When you put it like that,
Yeah.
and you see a night like tonight from Mitch Marner, does that change your opinion at all from the bashing that we did on Mitch Marner last night.
Like, I was thinking about this actively while watching this game. It's because I've been a Mitch Marner defender, right? And I still am. And I don't think any of the things I said last night had anything to do with playing Detroit in the middle of the season during a regular season game. I'm talking. My points about him were that it's an identity that runs through the team when things get tough, and this shouldn't have been a tough game, and it wasn't really. Mitch was had way more room tonight to do to create, and his line actually, the new line, didn't do awful. All the new lines actually, except for the fourth line, I had positive numbers. They were able to control the ice. The fourth line, it's awful that they were out there when things mattered most and they get scored on. But I mean, yeah, Marner, I think that it's he's going to have all these games. I've always he's a 100-point player most seasons, so he's going to have a lot of good games. It's just my opinion, I don't think has changed since last night about the identity of this team and how it kind of stems a little bit from him.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. What about Bunkus? So Bunkus tweeted out, JD Bunkus, he tweeted out, Samsonov getting the Bronx cheer on the first shot is brutal. And I didn't think that that's how it was. I honestly thought that when my first genuine reaction, maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm just naive,
right.
But I thought Samsonov getting cheered off the first shot was the team going yeah, you're back. We're happy to see you back, Sammy. You got this, buddy. But maybe not. I don't know. I didn't think that. I literally didn't think that about, because I know what the Bronx cheer is. I know about that. Yeah. But I did not think about that when it happened. I didn't go, oh, that's a Bronx cheer. Because I know when you can't make a save and then you finally make a save, oh, there it is. There's many other I think times that has happened, but
there's also when I think about it though, if I go through all of my Leaf fan friends, not one of them would have given him a positive cheer going in tonight. Maybe that says something about the friends that they have, but I mean everybody would have given him the Bronx cheer. And it obviously changed because we had some actual real Sammy chants at the end of the game before they let in the last goal. So or second last after the empty net, but yeah, so I don't know. I feel it was a Bronx cheer. They were making fun of him. I couldn't really see it being the other way, but the crowd did switch by the end of the game. Sammy had he had a good game, especially for the the bar that he has set for us this season. That might have been one of his best of the season.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about next. Samsonov, he really kind of showed up tonight. He made a few really big saves. He let in a couple of Samsonov goals, and but he looked confident. He played the puck twice in the first period, and I thought right then and there, oh, this might be a new man. The broadcast was pointing out little things that he was doing that he wasn't doing before, and I thought, oh, okay, this is all good signs. This is all good signs. Maybe Samsonov's going to find something, and on this show we've discussed it, and I think between the three of us, we have less than little faith for Samsonov to return and be good this season. But once you see it, you start to think, maybe. It creeps in anyways, right? The thought creeps, maybe. And he was obviously didn't let any goals in the first period. He'd only let one in through two. So, I mean, after all of this and after seeing Samsonov, does he get another start, and when?
Possibly. The whole time that he's playing well, I'm just thinking, you can't fool me, buddy. I know who you are, and maybe I'm the fool, but he's just there's so little time here before Wall comes back, and then he's going down. I mean, I just never see a picture now where you're setting Jones down instead of him. So I think that he can play as good as he wants to, but it just might mean that someone might claim him going through waivers next time if we wait the month from the last time and he can actually go through, then maybe someone takes him and then we get some real cap relief. That's kind of where my head's at.
So there cap relief from someone like Brody, because maybe it's time to fix the blue line, get rid of that $5 million cast space of a guy who's just letting pucks go through him and shell of himself. I don't know if he should be in the top line. John
No.
mentioned time to fix the blue line. What do you think?
I mean,
let me just finish up on Samsonov really quick. I got 2 quotes here.
yeah, sure.
Ilya
into that right after.
Samsonov was asked about hearing the fans cheer for him when he made the first save, and he says, "I effing love these guys." Then he says, Kifon Samsonov said he battles his ass off. I thought he was the best he's looked all season. Disappointing result. But yeah, TJ Brody, he's going to be a UFA at the end of the season. So that is something to discuss.
Yeah, I don't think that he should be traded. Especially like in the world that Samsonov isn't on this team anymore. We have quite a bit of cap room. And so I think that it's not like we're starving for the 5.5 to disappear for like a $3 million guy that does the same thing. So I think he's definitely the guy that gets bumped down the lineup. He's not a first pair, I don't think. But like, yeah, second or third pairing, I like TJ Brody there. And especially if ideally the guy that you bring in like replaces a lot of the roles that TJ Brody does as the number one shutdown guy, number one PK. So I think that like he's in a better position to look a lot better. And I think he would be, I'm not worried about the 5.5, and I want him on this team. And potentially next year, I still want him on this team if as a UFA he signs for a discount, but I'm not sure if that's in the cards, but
I think he might do that. He's a Toronto boy. You know, his family's here. He's obviously like I don't know how bad he wants to move at his age. Like he's near the end of his career. He's not gonna. He might play for 5 more years though. Like who knows? Who knows, right? He just like what if he just like this is his floor and he stays like this for 5 more years? Then you can't really say that he wouldn't because he's not horrible.
No.
But I can't imagine he's gonna play forever. So maybe he just does want to stick around year by year until he decides he's done here in Toronto.
Yeah, the one thing that like he's pretty valuable is a guy that can play both left and right shot, and so I would see probably another team giving him a bigger contract than in Toronto. So it would just depend like how badly does he want to stay here.
You know what I hate about TJ Brody playing right shot with a left hand? He can't shoot the puck.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have a left shot D on the right hand side, at least make it so he's got a dirty 1T. So that way when you pass it to him, he just slams it, right? It's right on his tape. It sticks in the middle of the ice. And, like, he's a guy who can also make passes and play just as well as TJ Brody, but a guy who can shoot, right? Like, that's not TJ Brody's thing. He does not have a shot. And if he did, that upper end of the Leafs, like, the back end would look so much better when they got into the zone. And, like, honestly, like, TJ Brody's great, yeah, but I would prefer, like, in a perfect world, they have a 1 right D and TJ Brody's your 2 left D, and we're laughing.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, Chris Tanev, like John says, like, he would fit in so well. He's just the number one target for everybody. And so, like, what's that price tag going to end up being? You know, like, you might, someone like Savard. Yeah, Savard is, like, kind of the next option. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they go that way. It's not quite as flashy, and he's an older guy. But I mean, if they could land Tanev, that's kind of the perfect guy, I think. It's just the one thing that's the downside is how much longer can Chris Tanev play like Chris Tanev? You know, and I think a trade anywhere he goes comes with a contract. So I like that's the only worry I have with him. But for the time being, he's perfect.
Yeah, no, that's fair. He's another one that's not. He's getting along in the tooth.
Is he 32 or 33?
Yeah, I'd have to check that up. I think that sounds right. I think he's 32.
Yeah. And like a player that plays with that style, like, you know, one day it goes away. It kind of
34.
is that. Oh, 34. So yeah. So I don't know. One day those type of players just really stop being good. You know, it's not like a slow decline. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't really want to put your eggs into the Chris Tanev basket. You got to kind of find a guy that does both, as we've talked about before. I'd love to have a Chris Tanev, like a guy who plays like that and is bona fide enough to play on the top pairing with Riley and just solve all the problems. But I think it's more likely to try and find somebody that does a little more of both. And if you're going to have a left shot up there because you can't find a right-handed shot, just fucking please make sure you can shoot. So the next thing we have here is the Red Wings announced Patrick Kane will not return tonight. Oof, I remember that.
Yeah.
Patrick Kane didn't end up injuring his hip, apparently. Elliot Friedman reported. I wanted to talk about Holmberg.
Yeah.
Now,
They're related.
we talked about malicious last night. We used the word malicious. There was a couple of malicious plays from Holmberg tonight. They looked innocent, but if you go look at it, like the first time, he slides into Pat Kane's skates, takes him out. I'm like, okay, that could be an accident. And then he takes him out again, and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see a pattern here. Like, does he have a target on 88's back? Like, Holmberg was playing rough and tumble, and like, it wasn't over the top dramatic, so it wasn't pointed out too much. But when they showed it back on the broadcast, I thought, what did he do to you?
Yeah, I actually had the same thought, like the young guy that's just coming back in the lineups, trying like he's taking out the old guy. I mean, it was just, they were just tough plays. Like, I mean, he was going in for the puck the one time. Like Patrick Kane went into the boards on the first collision really awkwardly. It kind of, in a way, reminded me of when Ryan Reeves, like was going into the boards. Like it looked like his skate caught weird. I'm not sure if maybe that's because Holmberg caught his skate. I didn't really catch that part of it, but and then it's 10 seconds later he's making contact again on the other end. So, I mean, it's good to see it here, especially for me because Patrick Kane's on my fantasy team. So, good thing it's not a hip injury. But yeah, Holmberg, I know that he scored a goal that was just kind of a fluky one off his skate, but he's doing all the right things, and he definitely didn't look out of place up on the top line.
No, I definitely didn't look out of place on the top line. Although, like, he didn't look great. He survived. He didn't thrive. A lot of the times it was nice for me to see him be in the right place in the offensive zone, especially a lot of the times when everybody is so used to going back when they lose the play, and Holmberg would intercept the puck, which was nice to see him grab the puck a few times in the offensive zone and keep the play alive. I wouldn't hate to see that again. If you had to choose one of those forward lines that we see tonight and play it again, or play it for the rest of the season, you have to play this line for the rest of the season. Which one did you like the best? Because that's all I want to know is which one you like the best. So we're gonna take it like that. Which one would you play for the rest of the season if you had to play one?
I mean, I guess it would depend, like what players are added to this team. So, because I'm always about like how you make up the other lines, but
no players are added.
No players are added.
You're thinking about it too much. No players.
Yeah, I'm not sure
added.
I like any of them, to be honest. But if I had to choose, I'd go with the Domi one. I mean, if someone twisted my arm, but I mean, they didn't jump off the ice tonight. Like any of them were like amazing. Like the team in general played okay, but just like nothing special, and like you just expected so much more. So yeah, I don't know. None of the above. What about you? Did you like one of them?
No, that's fair enough, and I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one of those lines to play together for the rest of the season, I kind of liked the third line. If you had to pick one to be your third line and you could build other players around it. So that after that, other players are coming in and they're going to take over other spots and whatever you can build around, but one of those lines has to stay in their spot. Robertson, Tavares, Yarncroke. I think that's a decent third line. I was like, maybe Tavares is the third line center we've been looking for all along.
Right. I guess if I was not thinking about the first, second, or the fourth line, then yeah, that's a pretty decent third line. Yeah.
And that was the exercise I was trying to do here. I think that would be a good fit in there if you could build around that for the rest of the season. But I don't think that any of those other lines, Holmberg, Matthews, Nylander seems like a science experiment.
Oh, big time. Holmberg's not a top line guy for the long haul.
Holmberg wearing 29. Did that throw anybody else off either?
Yeah.
It's like, Nylander, Matthews and Nylander.
Nylander's original number 29.
Yeah, his old number's 29. Yeah, that was, seeing that, I was like, wow, it's like the good old days. Like, they should have just thrown Domi up there with him. Just put Holmberg and Domi and Matthews, and it'll be the old Hyman Nylander H&M line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So what do we got next here? Oh, Morgan Rielly tonight. After almost 1,000 minutes played, Morgan Rielly takes his first penalty. But it was actually Willie who committed the infraction.
Yeah. Willie got to PK his own penalty. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, and at one point he almost scored a goal, and I was like, oh, maybe you shouldn't have said anything. But the whole time I'm like, oh, he should have said something. Like he should have said. Do you think that
definitely? Yeah,
Do you think
definitely
he
should have
should've?
said something because I want Morgan Riley out there before Willie Nylander.
That's what I was
right? Like,
thinking.
what were they thinking? I couldn't believe it. Like Willie should have put his hand up and just been like, "No, me. I did
Yeah,
it."
no, that was me. I did it. And apparently the ref asked if he got the right guy, and the broadcast says, no,
What's
he
he-
didn't.
Oh my god, I would have
know one of
benched
yous did
Willie.
it.
Jesus, that's insane.
He's like, get out of jail free card. And they're like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my god.
No, it was after they'd already made the call. I think there was something about that he made the broadcast made that comment. So I didn't really see the refs do it, but I heard the comment on the broadcast. But yeah, I think Willie should have said that as well. He should have been like, hey, no, that was me. Let's put our penalty killing defenseman out, please.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Willie's on the PK, but like barely. I mean, he's replaceable by basically anybody. So
And it's not like we're asking him to lie. We're asking him to tell the truth.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing. It's like, please tell the truth. And because you're the guy that should go anyways, that would make more sense. It's better for us for you to tell the truth. So just do the right thing, Willie, and go sit down for 2 minutes. You could use a break.
actually, if memory serves me right, I feel like Willie almost scored a shorthanded goal though, or at least he had an op.
I did
right.
say that. And at the one point at the beginning, I almost said this, but like, when he had that opportunity, you're almost thinking like, oh no, Willie, maybe you should be out there.
Yeah.
Then he went and sat down. So
Right,
it did never
yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
So Toronto right now is sitting at 13 regulation wins. Do you know who's right behind them?
I don't know. San Jose.
Ottawa Senators
Oh, it's not much better.
at 12.
Oh yeah.
That's not good at all.
No.
Still have the difference between the points percentage and those guys is 625 and 395.
Unreal.
The Leafs are having a problem closing games out in the regulation time, and I don't know what it's going to take for them to come back and win a few of these games, but we've been saying it for 5 shows now that like this California swing is great, but we need more. I need to see more, and you're just not showing me it. And like I'm really not thinking like every step that we take towards these trade deadlines. Leafs want Perry. That would be great.
Yeah, can we talk about that for a second?
Absolutely, but every day that we walk towards these trade deadlines, I'm not sure you do add somebody. You're not going to pay for somebody. Now a free Corey Perry.
I was gonna say, you don't have to give away anyone for Corey
league
Perry.
man,
Yeah, a free Corey Perry. On the other hand, I think if I'm not here to say that he's cleared and good conscience and can come into this organization, but if the Leafs do their homework and their due diligence and they decide that Corey Perry is fit to come and play for the Toronto Maple Leafs, he would be wholly welcomed on this team. He would fill a need that this bottom six absolutely has desired for years. He is the mistake, the signing that was not made. That's the biggest mistake in a very long time when we signed the other old guys.
Yeah, Wayne Simmons in particular was the guy.
Joe Thornton.
Yeah, well, they picked Wayne Simmons over Corey Perry. And so, like, my take on Corey Perry is that, yes, obviously he did something, like, bad enough to terminate his contract. But clearly not bad enough for there to be a crime committed and not to be allowed to play in the league. And this is a guy who, how many years has he played in the league? Like 18, 19 or something like that? And this is the first time ever that there's been a situation where his entire team doesn't vouch for him. So like this is a situation where I think that he's coming back into the league and there's a 99% chance that he's going to be a really big positive influence on the team. I guess it all comes down to like, what was the thing? And was it that horrendous? And maybe you have to do a little digging to see like, like, is this something where Corey Perry lost a lot of friends? Like that would be my first question. Like, does Nick Foligno hate him now as like being at like on Chicago at the time of this happening, or are they still buds? And this is just something that happened, and it's unfortunate that he can't be on the team anymore. So like, yes, there's a little bit of digging, but I think with just the history that Corey Perry has had in his career up until this point, I don't know how you don't sign him if he wants to come here for cheap,
Somebody that does podcasting or was on the radio, or I think he's an old guy. Somebody said Chicago has one of the most stringent workplace policies.
They
So
should.
He could have, and rightfully so.
Yeah,
And
from their
because
history.
of that,
Yeah.
he could have spit the wrong direction, metaphorically, and got thrown out.
I think it's a
could
bit
be
more than that,
absolutely
but
nothing.
yeah.
Now, he still has the right to appeal his contract being terminated. It was put out that it was mutually terminated. It was not. It
No,
was terminated
no.
due to whatever. It still hasn't been terminated officially. He's still officially under contract from the Chicago Blackhawks, and it's going to go under appeal if he chooses so. There's still that time. The case isn't closed on that, so we don't even know. Like, the PA is going to go after that situation, because you know that if that was to happen to another player, well, what if a guy's, he's making $4.5 million and you kind of want to get rid of his contract, and he's kind of an idiot, and like, you're just waiting for him to do something stupid so that way you can kick him off the team and terminate his contract. You don't got to pay him anymore. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. The PA will do, like, whether Corey Perry wants to challenge this or not, I bet you that, like, they're going to force his hand, because they don't want this to become just a regular thing where, it seems like, and also that, they had, like you said, they have 60 days from the time to challenge it, but that doesn't affect, like, Corey Perry. Like, he's never going back to Chicago. Like, he can still sign anywhere. Just has to do with how much money he makes from Chicago this year, which in his books, like, on such a lower contract and how much he's made, like, I'm sure he doesn't care, but the PA sure does. So that's another thing with this whole
thing.
with Corey Perry signing for the Leafs. If that was to happen, the media storm that would be about 2 weeks long would just be crazy. So, like, you have to be willing to withstand that. And then probably if there's having a hearing, there's going to be another media storm that happens at that point. So, like, these are the things that they're going to decide whether or not this team can handle it. But in my opinion, if this team can't handle that amount of media storm and just kind of ignore it and play on, then, like, there's way bigger problems. And we need Corey Perry just to set things straight anyway. So, I mean, he's just the perfect player, type of player that we want here. Just as long as, like, it's not something that would, be detrimental to the team already. But, I mean, I would sign him just to put him in the press box. Like, just so he's not playing for Tampa or for Boston or any of those teams, so we meet him in the playoffs and he takes us down. Like, I would just give him, like, I'll give you $2 million to just sit at home, bud. Like, I don't know.
Because when he ends up a Boston Bruin or a Carolina Hurricane or something, you're just going to hate yourself.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely hate yourself.
Brutal. Yeah.
So, Leafs PK is 25th in the league at 76.7%. That is not good enough. 80% is kind of the average in the league, kind of the standard line that you want to be above. If the Leafs had a better PK, how many wins do you think that would have accounted for more this season? Do you think it would have mattered at all?
I mean, it's probably a few. I don't know. Like, hard to really say. I would say it's not like it's not a make or break part of this team. Definitely needs improvement. I think, like, that's where everybody's calling for, like, a top 4 defenseman, and that would, so, he's going to be on the PK. So, like, that's something that Corey Perry is not going to help this team with. So, we have to go out and get someone else to help us there. But yeah, like, the PK can be learned, and they have been, like, better in the, like, at the beginning of the year. They were pretty awful, and so, like, they've been better at times too. So I don't know. The PK is weird because almost anyone should be able to do it if you have enough effort. It's just one of those things where you have to skate hard and be able to put your body on the line. So again, if that's the issue with this team, we have bigger problems. But I mean, Gio was always a really big part of this PK because he's that type of guy. Like, he'll get 6 blocks a game sometimes, and 4 of them are from the PK. Something just fell off my wall.
Ghosts.
Yeah, but anyway, so, like, he wasn't in the lineup tonight, and he's been injured. So that's one of the PK guys, and so I think you're looking to replace him, and that's the defenseman we're looking for. But
unfortunately, nobody wants to replace Gio. That's the thing. That's the
I know.
conversation we're all struggling to have. Nobody wants to make that the topic in the headline. Is that okay? So now we got to get rid of Gio. Well, but we love Gio. Like Papa Gio, come on.
Not
But,
get
like,
rid
it's
of him.
just, he's just not.
Just
Not play.
Even on the third line, he's just exactly. Don't get rid of him. Just don't play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. But
Yeah.
that's kind of how it has to be. And I mean, like, as my point earlier is the Leafs are 7 points fewer than last season at this point, and they have all these holes to fill. They're not quite as good of a team.
Yeah.
Which hole do you plug first? Is it the top 4 defensemen? Do you need a shakeup on the roster up top? Do we still need a goalie? What hole are you going to patch first? Because it seems like as soon as you fill one, there's going to be another that's going to be an immediate need.
Yeah, I think to me, I would fill the right shot defenseman first. I feel like that just immediately improves your team.
World,
Yeah, and that helps the forwards too, because the forwards rely on the defenseman for transition. I feel like the right shot defenseman to me is just like number one priority. We kind of ignored it a bit while we were having goalie problems, and like the defense was playing really well. But I think it's kind of a little bit of false hope, and in general, and that's one of the biggest problems is nobody wants to replace Gio, but like. I'm not a big social media guy, so I'm not on like seeing what everyone's saying, but I'm going to say that not a lot of people were really upset that Gio got scratched tonight. I don't know if that's right, but that's how I feel. It's just like,
I don't think it makes or breaks the lineup.
no, it's not like unfortunately, he might be everybody's like, heart and soul favorite player, but you need more than that, unfortunately. So I would love if Gio was 5 years younger. And that would just be like, that would be the solution to a lot of our problems.
Yeah, that would be he would literally be the solution to our problems. Yeah. That would
let's
be
time
perfect.
machine some people here.
Yeah,
So
35-year-old Gio,
Yeah.
perfect. Didn't he win a Norris at 35?
yeah, that would have been right in his Norris
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, like it would have been perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We needed 35-year-old Gio. Too bad that didn't happen. So that's my last thing. What else you got there, CP?
I don't know, so we never really talked about Timmins coming into the lineup instead of Lagesson. Sheldon Keefe just falls in love with guys based on history and just ignores what's happened recently. And Lagesson was playing awesome, way better than Timmins ever basically has, except for in preseason for us. So Keefe just makes a lot of. I don't know if Keefe makes all the decisions. That's the thing. Is there's so many assistants. I know that he would have had to run by all these changes to the lineup, past all the management. It's not like he can just make decisions on his own. So there's probably a lot of people making mistakes here. But why the Timmins thing? I just don't understand that. And he not that he made any. Well, he almost made a huge mistake, and the puck was about to cross the line, and Benoit had to save his butt. But the reason that puck was there is because Timmins made a stupid play, basically just shuffled it in front of our net. So I don't know. He made a bunch of I was about to give him too much credit. He played pretty bad actually. I don't want to see Timmins in there anymore, especially because he's not the type of player that we're looking for. Even if it is a Band-Aid for now, Lagesson is much more the type of player that this team needs.
Yeah, Timmins had 2 big blasts on net. And
Yeah.
if he could get a couple
He's got a
more
shot.
of those and that one goes in, then you maybe understand why Timmins is on this team. But it's
But
and
if
the
one
fact
goes
that
in,
Legesson's a left-handed shot too, right? We have a bunch of left-handed. We're just gonna put 6 left-handed D out there because that's our 6th best D. And then it gets really hard to make cross ice passes, and is everybody comfortable with that? No, right? So it gets tough, right? These guys are playing at the highest level. You want them in their best position to succeed. And I think Sheldon Keefe feels that we have these assets. We got to play them. Or maybe it's somewhere along the lines of, well, F it. We got Sammy and Nat. Might as well play Timmins. We're just throwing the boat. We're throwing the dog to the bone on this
probably
one.
gonna
So,
lose.
yeah,
And my team hates me, so they're not gonna play for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's whatever. We're gonna try something here. He's galaxy braining it. He's got all the strings going across the boards in the background, and he's just trying to come up with something. And then he comes up and he's just you know what? I'm gonna do exactly what everybody wouldn't do.
Yeah.
I'm a genius. Because to be an NHL head coach, you don't have to be the best coach. You just have to have a different idea.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Go the
And
right
that's
way.
what a lot of these coaches do. They're not the best because if they just took the guy who made the most obvious decisions and made him the coach, I mean, lots of guys could be coached and they'd have way more pool of coaches in the NHL. What they do is they have this group of guys who just have this brain that goes into the galaxy and they make these crazy decisions. Well, what if? And they come up with this crazy shit like Holmberg on the first line. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
well, let's just throw Timmins in instead of Legason. Let's play Sammy. And he's just like, oh, this team is going to win. But it doesn't ever happen.
No.
Yeah, that's what's got to be. That's how you have to be an NHL coach. You just have to have that mentality that you can just shift things up and do the craziest thing in the whole entire world, and your team's going to win. And that's Sheldon Keefe, Mr. Galaxy Brain.
Yeah. He's itching very close to a firing, I'll tell you. Getting close.
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to
Leafs
say
really
while I
need-
was setting up the show, I didn't realize it was Raymond that got the empty netter, and I was happy about it because I needed that for a few categories
yeah.
in fantasy this year, or this week. I mean, so hey, yeah.
Ted,
that
you
was-
just want the fans to
I
hate you.
know. I think they probably
Yeah.
already do. So I
Just
have
win,
no
just
issue.
win, win,
just
win.
saying,
Yeah.
You know, hey, you were upset that Kane was out because your fantasy league or something, or upset
Yeah.
he was. You know, come on.
Yeah,
It's just the enemy.
that's very different.
It's what fantasy does
It's
to you.
just
I've-
the enemy, you boys.
Hey, I've
Come
wanted,
on.
like, I've
I
seen
know our
myself
audience
cheering
on
for
my
weird
comment.
teams because of fantasy. So come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Clueless.
Fair enough. I'm cheering for your fantasy team, so whatever.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. All right, we got anything else, boys? You want to get out of here?
Yeah, I think I'm done on this team.
All right, we're done for now.
Maybe forever.
Looking ahead, the Leafs head west to take on the Oilers. They'll be doing that at 9 p.m. on Tuesday night. As always, we will be here post-game to share our thoughts and reactions. But for now, that's a wrap. Thank you for listening. Hit that like button. It's super easy. Whatever platform you're watching or listening on, subscribe on YouTube, rate us 5 stars everywhere else. Find us on X at STDP Hockey and search for Split the Defense on all other socials. Until next time, peace.
Peace.
You've been listening to
Split the defense.
Leafs Post-Game Edition. Hosted by Jordan Webster, Craig Pearce, and producer Ted Evans.
Split the defense.
Is presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors. Professional and efficient service since 2004. Serving the Kingston and surrounding areas.